In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, one God, Amen. Today we'll start the third lecture about the Coptic language. In the first two lectures, the first one we talked about how beneficial it is studying the Coptic language, and we got some introduction about how valuable is that language. Then the second lecture we talked about the history of the Coptic language, its development, and the point of weakness or the point of power during its development. Today we'll talk about the actual language. We'll start the letters and talk about some grammar whenever we have any chance, trying to understand how to use that language to understand all the prayers of our church. In the first slide of today's class, I wanted you to see the picture of our church, St. Mark Coptic Orthodox Church in Cleveland, Ohio. Nice church which had served the whole area for many years. And it was serving all the north or most of the northeast states of the United States since the beginning of the service by Father Michael in 1974. I'm proud to be a member of that church, and I hope for that church a lot of success and progress. Second thing I request the prayers and support of our beloved Father, our beloved Pope, Father Tawadros II, our beloved Bishop, Father Seraphim, and our beloved priests, Father Michael, and Father Marcus Ghali, and Father Daniel Taib. In the first slide of the study of today, we can see how the church looks like. This is our church in St. Mark Coptic Orthodox Church in Cleveland, Ohio. It has served all the area as I described to you now. And today we'll start the first lecture in the actual language. As I told you in the first two lectures, the Coptic letters are formed of 32 letters. The first 24 are coming from the Old Greek language, except number 6. Number 6 is actually a number coming from the Old Hieroglyphic language. And when we draw a line above the letter, it becomes a number. So number 6 is used as number 6. Number 6 letter is used as number 6 only, and not as a letter. So after that, we'll take 25 minus that number 6. These are 24 letters from the Old Greek alphabet. We add to them about the seven sounds coming from the Demotic hieroglyphic language. As I told you in the previous lecture, that Coptic went through a hieroglyphic language where the priests were in control, then the Demotic language where the Egyptians started to understand it, and when they started to use the language and try to use all the Greek letters, they were missing 7 important sounds which were added to the Coptic letters and make them 32 letters. These sounds were added at the end of the alphabet, and those what I am reading for you now. Shai, Fai, Chai, Hori, Janja, Ichima, Ti. Now let's start the alphabet from the beginning. You will notice in that table that some letters are colored yellow greenish, like Vita, Gamma, Delta, Epsilon, Ki, and Janja. Those letters are characterized by multiple sounds and multiple use. That's why I made them a different color. Second thing is, having capital or small in Coptic language is not very important and is not mandatory. In Arabic, we don't use capital letters to start a sentence or for names. But in English and French, we learned that we have to use capital and small depending on the spot where the language is used. For example, capital for names and a beginning of a sentence or beginning of a paragraph. In Coptic language, since we started using the left to right all the Greek letters, we honored that capital's small issue, and you'll notice that each letter I have written with a capital and a small. But as I told you in the beginning, it's not mandatory. It's not a mistake if you write it all in the same size. Let's start now. Alpha, Vita, Gamma, Delta, A, looks like E, but pronounced like A, like French. So U, that's a hieroglyphic number coming from the hieroglyphic language. It's always used as number 6. Zeta looks like Z or Z. Z in American pronunciation and Z in British pronunciation. But we add a small tail to it and we call it Zeta. Eta looks like H, but it's actually a double E. Eta. Theta, it's like with a TH. Iota, Kappa, Lola, like an inverted Y. May, Ne, Xi, O, P, Rho, Sigma, Taf, Epsilon, Phi, K, Epsi, O, Shai, Phi, Chai, Hori, Janja, Ichima, Ti. In the next 2 slides, I am giving you a comparison between the old Greek letters, which were used in the Coptic language, and the modern Greek letters, which are used now in Greece. The reason I try to give you this, because it is very helpful if you go to a Greek Orthodox church. And it happened to be that I was on call and couldn't go to celebrate resurrection feast in our church because it's far away from our hospital. So I was invited by a friend to attend the Greek Orthodox church. They gave me the prayer book, which we call in our church Khulagi, and their khulagi was similar to ours, except that it was typed in modern Greek. Because I have it in my mind how to read the modern Greek when I apply my knowledge about the old Greek, so I was able to read many, many words and understand many words. So I'm trying to give you the same hint that if you know which letter is which and how the shape of letters changed from the old Greek to the new Greek, that may help you to understand the prayer books in the Greek Orthodox Church. Alpha, and starting with alpha here. You will notice in this table that I put in the green column the modern Greek letters, and in the regular column on the left, the old Greek letters. And the pronunciation in the second column and fourth column. We can read it together now. Alpha stays alpha, but the shape or the way they draw it in modern is little different. Vita becomes beta. So in Greek, they don't say V. They always pronounce the B beta, like B. No V, no vita. And they look a little different in how they draw it. Gamma becomes gamma, and we know gamma X-rays or gamma rays we use in medicine. And when it's small, it looks like a Y. Delta stays delta, with change in how they write it. A, which looks like E, but pronounced like A like in French, changed to A like E in English, and it's called epsilon. Zeta becomes zeta, and the shape, as you see it in the green column, the shape is a little different. Eta becomes eta, and again, the way they write it is different, a little different. Theta, theta, iota, iota, kappa, kappa, lola or lavla become lambda, and when they write it in modern Greek, when it's small, it's like an inverted Y. When it is capital, it looks like an inverted V. May becomes mu, and they use mu in science. It can be used in equations, and also it is one of the narcotic benefits, like I say, or effects, and we call it mu effect. Second slide. Ne becomes new. Xi becomes xi, shorter and different. O looks the same, but we call it in modern Greek omicron. P becomes P. Rho becomes rho. Sigma becomes sigma, and we use it in science. Tau becomes tau. Epsilon changed to upsilon, and instead of writing it like a small circle with two horns, they draw it when it's capital like a Y, when it's small it's like a U. Phi stays Phi. K becomes chi or chi, And the European dialects, they have difficulty to say qi. They say ki or they should chi, but they have hard time saying chi. Except in the German and the Turkish and some dialects in the Scandinavian or other European languages. O becomes omega. And here it's important to remember that term omega, since in the Bible, when the Lord said, I am the first and the last, or I am Alpha and Omega. So they consider omega the last letter in the new Greek letters. And it's in Coptic only pronounced O and named O. So having the knowledge that is omega is O and it's the last letter in the Greek alphabet, make us understand that verse in the Bible which says, I am Alpha and Omega. We'll start now with the first letter, Alpha. When you draw Alpha, you see, it's like a curved stick, a slanting line here, and then we close it from below with like an inverted angled part like this, like a shape of V. If we draw it small, it looks like a circle with a slanting line. When we pronounce alpha, we always pronounce it as A. We never say A like in English. It's A like in French. That's why I put the word father to remind every one of you that alpha is always A. And I got you a word we use in the liturgy. Taco. Taco means corruption. Taf, Alpha, Kappa, O. And this is always prayed in our liturgy when Abuna says, Ya Allah al-Azim al-Abadi, الذي جبل الإنسان على غير فساد. When we say it in English, O Lord, the great and eternal, who formed man in no corruption. No corruption. So here they use the word corruption, taco, but they put no before that. What we do in Coptic is we add a prefix to the word. In English, it is separate, no corruption. But here in Coptic, we add a prefix, alpha taf. Attaco. Attaco means no corruption. Or if they use it in the prayer as a verb, we say aftaco, alpha for a past tense, like what we see later, and fai for the third singular, third person. So aftaco, no corruption, doing no corruption. I told you in the previous lecture that hieroglyphic comes from hair means priest, glyphic means carving. So as you see here in the picture, the priest was trying to type some words by carving them as you see in the photo here. So the first letter, which is alpha, was always drawn by the priest as this bird. You see that bird? So that bird is actually simplified into that outline on the yellow side here. You see that outline? And that was finalized as the shape of alpha, as you see it in the most left part of the slide. That's how the alphabet in the Greek, all the Greek, was used to replace the pharaonic hieroglyphic language. Second word we're trying to learn here is allele, alpha, Lola, Iota, Lola. Allele means mouse or small rat. Next word. Here I want to talk to you about one of the founders of monastic life. Actually, he's the very first founder of monastic life in the whole world. That's Ava Antonius. Let's read his name first. Alpha, Vita, Vita. Alpha means Ava or Appa or Papa or Father. Because we pronounce it in Coptic, we read the Vita as V. So we say Ava. And when our beloved Pope come to visit us in the church, we say Papa Ava Tawadros. The actual name is Anthony. But when we say the name and we specifically call somebody with it, like Father Antonius, we add the suffix O sima or a sima, depending on the vowels. So Anthony becomes Antonius. Macari, which means good, it's a Coptic word, becomes Macarius. Armani becomes Armanius. Ologia, which is the holy bread, or the holy bread, the blessed bread given to the people by the priest at the end of the prayer. We can call somebody with that name, we say Ologios. If it is with alpha, like Mina, we say Minas, and so on. On the left here, we can see the photo of the monastic development called St. Anthony Monastery. It's a nice, holy, very good, very nice monastery on the Red Sea. I visited that place many times myself, and I got blessed a lot from just visiting that place. I advise everyone, when you have any chance to visit St. Anthony Monastery on the Red Sea, don't hesitate. You will be happy to go there and you will be blessed. Next word I try to teach you today is Agbeya. It's a book of prayer used in the Coptic Church. It contains 7 prayers for the day. Start with Matin at 6 a.m., third hour at 9, 6th hour prayer at noon, 9th hour prayer at 3 p.m., Vespers prayer at 5 p.m., and sleep prayer or at 6 p.m., then midnight prayer at midnight. The midnight prayer actually is divided into 3 prayers or 3 parts. So we can see that it can be prayed every 3 hours, each part every 3 hours. This way our church is trying to fill our day, the 24 hours, with prayers And in between, as our priests and bishops tell us, we should follow what St. Paul said, that we should pray every minute or every moment. Let me explain to you how that word is formed. Alpha, Janja, P, 3 letters here, those mean hour, the hour of time. And also Agb, or that is how we pronounce it, represent the watch you wear in your hand or your wrist. So Agbeya is the book of hours. It contains, as I told you, the 7 prayers, and also they add one more prayer specific for the monks and nuns called the prayer of Sitar, which means in English end of the day or conclusion of the day. Then we have also some saints with the start of the name with Alpha, like Apakir. Apakir is a famous saint from Egypt, and here they changed the Ava to Apa Kir, since it became like a famous name. There is a famous beach west of Alexandria, and that's called Apakir, Abu Ir. You can read the story of the saint Apakir in our book of saints in the church, which we call Synexarium. Syn, S-Y-N, means together. Exarium means the story life of saints. So Synexarium is the book of the stories of our saints collected together in one book. Each day we read the memory or commemoration of each saint or occasion accordingly. This slide here is very vital and very important, and I'm almost done, but I'm trying to get your attention to understand these 2 words here. They are very vital. The first word, Amin, Alpha, May, Eta, Nei, Amin. We say this word when we are in absolute truth. Say, for example, you are in a meeting and everybody is discussing certain situations or decisions, and then someone said about this issue, we all say Amin. Amin means there is no mistake in that issue. It is perfect. It is very good. So Amin represent what we call absolute truth. When I say Amin about something or end of prayer, I say Amin, this absolute truth. Second word is Alleluia, Alpha, Lola, Lola, Eta, Lola, O, Epsilon, Iota, A, Alpha. Alleluia is the word said by everybody almost all over the world when there is something very joyful or very happy and very complete or very perfect. So when we are sitting together and something very nice happens, we say Hallelujah, Hallelujah. And I remind you here with something interesting. If you look in chapter 19 in the Revelation, the last book of the New Testament, you'll notice that they put Alleluia 4 times after the salvation of Jesus Christ. Our church is a nice church, and it is very, very, very understanding for views of the life of Christ. For that reason, they said, since it was used 4 times, It represents all the four areas of the world: east, west, north, south. And for that reason, after we read the Bible, New Testament, we say Alleluia 4 times. That means the completion of the salvation and the completion of saving of the human being. But before the psalm, we say Alleluia only 3 times. 3 times are what we call perfection, or the relative perfection. Like when I say our father Jacob or our father Abraham was perfect. It's a relative perfection compared to the full perfection and full purity after the salvation of Jesus Christ, which he offered all the world by his death on the cross. Grammar is very important also for us. So the letter alpha is very important in some grammar. Whenever we put the letter alpha before any verb in Coptic language, it makes that verb, or it puts that verb in the simple past tense. I chose one verb here, ishlil. If you notice here, the shy has like an accent above. In French, we have 3 accents: accent aigu or accent grave and the accent circumflex. Similar to that in Coptic language, we have that accent and we call it jenkim. Jenkim. It gives a sound before the letter. So shy becomes ash or esh. Lola, ita, lola, ishlil. And this word means pray. Whenever you go to a Coptic church, the first thing the priest says before he starts prayer, he says ishlil, which means everybody get ready to pray. Now this vowel here, this letter here, the green letter here, this represents the subject, الفاعل, whoever does the prayer. So here I means me, like in English. I ishlil, I prayed. Ak ishlil, kabba here represents the second person singular, male. So ak ishlil, you prayed as a male. Now the rule in Coptic, when we put any pronoun like ak or like kabba here, we remove it when we talk to a female and we say ishlil. But they got the habit to put instead of that ro a, are ishlil. Re here means do something. Are ishlil, you prayed, for the female singular second person. Af ishlil, fai, like fai here. Af ishlil, he prayed, third person singular male. As ishlil, sima here. This is for the female third person singular. She prayed. An ishlil, and nay is for the plural, males, females, or mix. So an ishlil, we prayed as males or females or group of both. Retain, ro a taf a nay, retain. Aritin Ishlin, you prayed, whether males or females or group, both. Then Av Ishlil, the last one, they, whether males or females or both, we put epsilon and it pronounced V here in this sentence or this word. We notice in other languages that we usually write the subject separate from the object, separate from the verb, but here it is all in one word. Alpha here represent a simple past tense. Iota represent subject, me, myself. Ishlil represent the verb. When we add the object, we put A, which is like E in English, A with an accent, jenkim on top. That will represent the object. So one word can have the object, the tense, the past tense, the subject, and the verb. When we try to put this in negative past tense, simple, we add at the end an, alpha ne. Like when I say in English, I did not. So alpha ne represent not. Or in French represent pas. When you say n'est pas. When I say je ne sais pas, I don't know. So an give you the negative tense for any verb. So when I say I ishlil an, I did not pray. Ak ishlil an, you did not pray. Are ishlil an, you did not pray for the female, second person, singular. Av ishlil an, he did not pray. As ishlil an, she did not pray. An ishlil an, we did not pray. Aritin ishlil an, you did not pray. Av ishlil an, they did not pray. With this, I'll finish my lecture for today. There are more uses for the letter alpha in grammar, but we'll keep that for the future when they are more beneficial to learn in the future lectures. I hope you pray for this work and support it, because I hope we can present an easy way to learn the Coptic language for everyone in our church. God bless you, and see you in the next lecture with the prayers of all of you min ajl this nice work. Lord bless all of you, and thank you.